What's happening? What's happening? What's going on? And welcome back today on the podcast, this brief podcast. Here's what we're going to discuss. We're going to discuss what I discovered about the tax system no one is talking about. Absolutely. This is like being swept under the rug, and it's keeping so many people stuck like Chuck in a pickup truck. Today, I'm going to share it with you. And here's what's going to happen as I share this with you. You get to make a decision for yourself. If it's true for you, and if it is true for you, then you get to decide where you go next. All right. So if you want to grow your money, if you want to like make more money, this is the video for you. So I'm Jamie, the Healthy Accountant, helping people to account for their life. Today, we're going to talk about taxes, and this is what I'm going to share. I've been in the tax business and the accounting business for the past 29 years. Yeah, for the past 29 years. Been a business owner inside the accounting field for the past 22. And I didn't know this until recently. The tax system, the way that it's structured and the way that it's been set up and shown to people, most people are afraid to make more money because if they make more money, they got to pay more taxes. Come on now. Let's think about it. I posted something recently that got some attention, and it's about taxes, and Facebook even said it was misinformation. Oh, this isn't real information. Well, here's the thing. Rich people have been talked bad about. Now, here's the thing, and rightfully so. There's some people that do some things that you're like, that's detestable. Most rich people are really, really, really good people. So think about it. Somebody went out and got rich, then that means they weren't afraid to pay more taxes. See, most people, if I say one word, the IRS. Oh, IRS just sent you a letter. Oh my goodness. Oh, I don't want to mess with the IRS. The IRS, I don't want them to take me to jail. I'm just going to pay the money. Most people are afraid of the IRS, Internal Revenue Service. So let's break this down. We're going to break down the IRS today. And what is the IRS, Internal Revenue Service? It's just what it says is. It's the revenue collection service for the government. And their main job is to collect as much money as possible from the American citizen. So what that means is the IRS is not here to help you save money on taxes. The IRS is not here to give you advice. The IRS is just trying to figure out, well, how much money can we get out of you? How much money? So when we think about the tax system, most people are first afraid of the IRS. And because they're afraid of the IRS, most people are not willing to go the distance for their life and for their money. Money is not even real. The dollars and cents you might have in your hand or your bank account, it's just a piece of paper. You could spend $1 million if, like, say, for instance, you was at a conference and everybody just started passing around $1 bill, $10 bill, all around that conference. You could have that one $1 bill passed around 1 million times, and you just spent $1 million. But did you? What actually happened? Nothing. So when you think of money, you got to think of money as everywhere. Money is wherever I decide it is. And I'm not afraid of the IRS. I'm not afraid of paying taxes. I'm not afraid of paying 50. You got to say stuff like, I'm not even afraid of paying 50%. Because think about it. If I make 50 million, I got to give up 50, I still got 25. I didn't have 25. I'm just saying, I'm not telling you that that's the best way to do it. What I'm saying is it's being okay with, if I got to pay 50%, who cares? I got 25. I made 50 million. Or even if I made $1 million, I got to pay 50%. I got to pay $500,000. So that means in my mind, wait, I wasn't making that already. I didn't have $500,000 already. Most people who work a job probably make under $60,000 a year. So we're talking, You go from 60 and then you can have 500,000. Who cares about how much taxes you pay? Why? Because 60, I just was making 60 grand. But Jay, but still, it's a lot. Well, I'm not telling you it's a lot, and I'm not telling you should pay that amount. What I'm saying is that most people are just so afraid of the tax system that they don't realize that that's actually what's keeping them tiny and small. Guys, I'm talking to myself. I didn't know I was afraid of the tax system, which I'm not now, but at some point I was. I'll be honest. I was probably somebody afraid of the IRS too. But now what I realize about the IRS is that they have a job to do, which is, hey man, we got some laws. We got some guidelines. It's guidelines. We just have guidelines. If you follow the guidelines, you win the game. Taxes in business is a game. We got the Tax Game Masterclass where we talk about the game of taxes. Tony Robbins has the game of taxes and money in his book, Money Master the Game. So both are games to play. Think about it. You literally can play chess in the tax system. Chess. You can play checkers in the tax system. You can play Monopoly in the tax system. I've been doing tax returns for a long time. I've looked at a lot of tax returns. And it was one day, I said, wait a second. I said, this is a phenomenon. How most people's tax returns don't change much. I'm just talking about like people who don't have businesses, folks that have a job. The finances don't change much. It's almost the same every year. Maybe they go buy a house. Maybe they have some kids. But when it comes to the amount of money, don't change much. And as soon as it goes up, as soon as they start making more money and the taxes do start coming in, it's like, oh my goodness, it's not worth it. Do you know, I recently, we were talking to a potential client, and they started making so much money, they wound up paying a bunch of money in taxes. One, they didn't get any guidance. They started paying a bunch of money in taxes, and they didn't want to make any more money. They had, the contract they had was, paying them almost $500,000 a year. And they said, I'm just going to go take a lesser job, make 80,000, maybe just 100 grand instead of the $500,000. Because when the taxes came in, it was just like, that's too much. I agree, it's too much, but it's still more. So the key here with the tax system is simple. Play the game. So if you have a job, so think about this, you have a job, you got a good job, making $100,000 a year. I mean, you think most people want to make $100,000 a year. Unfortunately, today, $100,000 a year is not that much. That's probably the equivalent of about $50,000, $60,000 way back when. So way back when I was in the workforce and my last job paid me about $75,000, $80,000, that was probably equivalent of about $120,000 today. Maybe a little bit more. I'm serious. So back then I thought I was balling. I was like, yo, this is a lot of money. Until I got into the game of business and I saw you can make 200, 300, 500. Yeah, I saw you could actually make millions of dollars. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is actually possible. This is bananas. I remember the first time I did a real estate transaction. Check this out. I did a real estate transaction. And I did a deal. I think I made like $80,000 on the deal. One deal. I was like, that was one deal. I was like, oh my goodness. This is bananas. I couldn't believe it. Now, because I had a business, I wasn't concerned about any taxes. You pay some taxes, but you don't pay that much in taxes when you understand the game. So the discovery of the tax system and how the tax system holds people back is really what we're going to hone in on today before we get out of here. So if you're watching this video today, short, this is not a long video. If you're watching this video today, and one, you have a job. So first type of person, you have a job. And doesn't matter how much money you're making. But you ask yourself, what would it feel like if I was making $250,000? Right? You're making under 100,000. What would it feel like to make $250,000? And then say to yourself, well, dang, well, like if you had a job and you made $250,000, you're probably going to pay somewhere around $80,000, maybe $90,000 in taxes. 250, like just if you were just no dependents, nothing, like just maybe about 80, 90,000. How's that feel? Does it feel worth it to you? It should be. Here's why it should be worth it. You was just making 60 or 70. Now you just went up. Yeah, you're not getting all the 250, but here's the thing. That's where you got to understand the game. So I got a job making me 250. Now here's the thing. You're in the highest tax bracket. Well, I'm sorry. The self-employed person who's making that kind of money is in the highest tax brackets. So the W-2 employees, they're almost there. They're not as high, just a little bit under that guy or that gal. But then you say, well, how do I play this game? How do I continue? If I go from W-2 to self-employed, tax is going to go up, but at least you get to write off something. Now, here's what happens. The $250 that you're making on your job, you can't write anything off. But the $250 you're making in your business, you can write as much as you can off. And there's great things you can do to minimize your taxes. Maybe you get it down to $100,000 profit. But then there's a way to continue to reduce your taxes just by playing the game. See, the game of taxes is kind of like in Robert Kiyosaki talks about the quadrants, the four quadrants. You've got the wage owner, you got the employee quadrant, you got the self-employed quadrant, you got the business quadrant, and then you have the investor quadrant. The game requires you to go through each phase. I was a W-2 employee at some point. I became self-employed at some point. I became a business. Now, a business is when you actually start hiring people. And so you're hiring people, and that's further growing. So that's a huge opportunity. But then we all want to move to investor, because in the investor, what we do is we now get taxed on things like capital gains. Instead of being taxed as ordinary income, which this is a little bit above what we're really talking about today. I'm just going to briefly go here. Instead of getting taxed with ordinary income, it's like, this is the active money. You have a job, you have an active business that you're involved with. But once you're not as involved with these things, and now you're in the investor quadrant, then all your money is taxed between 0 and 20%. You can make about $95,000 in the 0% range and not pay any taxes. What? If you make $95,000 in the business quadrant, no, you're still going to pay taxes, right? You're still going to pay probably around 20%, 20, maybe even 24%. If you are an employee, you're going to pay taxes. If you're self-employed, you're going to pay even more taxes. So think about it. In the investor quadrant, you make $95,000 a year, and that's about 0 taxes and no money. But say you made $10 million. Now 10 million, oh my goodness, up to 20%. But then they do some interesting things to then reduce that down to almost 0. See, there's a game to play, guys. And what I discovered about the tax system that's holding people back is that most people are afraid of the IRS. Most people are afraid of taxes. And look, today I want to empower somebody to say, you know what? If taxes is a game, that means that's a game I can learn to play. That's a game I can learn to play. And because you can learn, guys, when you came here, you didn't know how to do anything. What I'm talking about is when you came to this planet, when you came out of your mother's womb, you don't know how to talk, you don't know how to walk, you don't know how to put your clothes on, you don't know how to eat, you don't know how to do anything. So if you don't know how to do anything, that means you can learn how to do everything. Taxes? We talking about taxes? Absolutely. You can learn the game of taxes. Lastly, I was on the phone with somebody just yesterday, and it was sad because, They were just like, man, no one was willing to kind of help me to understand these things that I know. Like, he's a business owner, he's doing great, making money, and he's talking to well and good people, and no one's actually helping him to navigate. He wanted to navigate the game because he understood there was a game to play, but no one wanted to play the game. And if they wanted to play the game, they didn't really want to help him to understand how it was going to benefit him. I said, that's interesting. Had another call yesterday with a really big company. Well, not really big, but it's not that big. 18 million, $20 million company is not that big. I'm sorry, I said really big. Maybe big to you. It's not really big. So 20 million, just say $20 million company who got bad advice after bad advice, it's going to cost them a couple of $1 million in taxes because someone did not advise them correctly. And I'm on the call with them like, I can't believe this happened. I'm like, man, we could have saved these people so much money. Wow, that would have been a huge consulting fee for us. Yeah. I says, wow, sparked an idea. So I'm going to end it here because the tax system is a game and everybody doesn't play the game. So you just have to discover, one, who else is playing it and get around the table with them, play the game with them, learn the game so you don't have to be stuck like Chuck in a pickup truck. And so you don't have to be afraid of the IRS. And so you can say, you know what, IRS, I'm playing the game. I'm playing by the rules you already set. So there's nothing I need to be afraid of. So guys, if this brought value to you today, if you got inspired, let me know in the comments. Say, man, I got inspired today on this video on taxes because, man, that's why I'm here. I'm here to help you to see things different as a healthy accountant. And if you got inspired today to look at the tax system different, comment below and let me know. Guys, I appreciate you for joining me for this episode of the Account for Life podcast. I'm a healthy accountant, helping you to account for your life. Today, we talked about taxes. God bless you, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.
This has been the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the healthy accountant himself, Jay Moore. Until next time, make it a great day.